Buongiorno everyone, Kek here from the Magpie channel. Just going to run through a predicted lineup for Saturday's game against Watford. Brucey's just had his press conference, confirmed some of the injuries. We've got a lot more problems than it first seemed. Matt Ritchie's going to be out for 2 months, he's just confirmed. Not good news for him. Almiron's expected to be fit. Jetro Willems and Emil Kraft are both doubts with muscle injuries, and Alan Saint-Maximin is going to be out for 3 to 5 weeks with a grade 1 injury, whatever that means. So we're going to go through the starting 11 predicted and the bench. Obviously we're going to start with Martin Dubravka, the number one. He's always going to be there for the big Premier League games. Carl Darlow had a great game against Leicester. Can't fault Carl Darlow, but in these big games it's always going to be Martin Dubravka. The wing-back position, we're going to go with Javier Manquillo. Never puts a foot wrong in my eyes. I like Manquillo. He gets a lot of stick at times, but lately, over the last few months, he hasn't put a foot wrong. If Kraft is or will be fit, I would start with Kraft, if I'm honest, because it's that solidarity. I think we need some consistency in the team. He was there. He made his debut against Norwich. It wasn't the best, but I think coming into the Premier League, it's always going to be hard. I didn't think he was that bad, and he was absolutely solid against Tottenham. And he started the game against Leicester midweek and put in another good shift. So for solidarity, I would stick with Kraft. But if he's going to be a doubt with a muscle injury, then it's best to just stick with Manquillo. Like I say, he doesn't put a foot wrong. So it's pretty much a like-for-like replacement there. Fabian Schär will go at centre-back for his looks like his third 90-minute game in 6 days. I didn't think he would start against Leicester, to be honest. I thought he would have been one of the benches. He was actually a doubt for that game, so I didn't even think he would have made the bench. I thought he would have been lucky to make the bench, but no, he started and lasted the 90 minutes. And with some of the injuries, we'll get there with what I'm about to say. He's going to have to, really. We're lacking in options, to be honest. There's only one guy that could come in, which we'll get to. Captain Lascelles, he should be back. There's no new update on him. He hobbled off against Tottenham, put in a great shift against Tottenham, but came off with the injury to the so-called penalty against Harry Kane. Hobbled off in that game. He was a major doubt for the Leicester game. He sat on the bench for the duration, and no new news. I think he should be alright, thankfully. So he'll come in as the captain, and alongside him, I'm going to go with Federico Fernandez. Again, put in a solid shift. He's possibly my 2 favourite players, with him and Isaac Hayden against Leicester. Absolutely solid. And like I said, at the Tottenham game, the 3 boys at the back were absolutely solid. Couldn't fault any one of them. Lascelles went off injured. Fernandez came in to replace him and just kept that same momentum. You wouldn't have noticed there was any change, because he just kept on with an absolutely solid performance against Tottenham's boys at the front. And yeah, solid performance against Leicester. So he would keep his place just due to the injuries, because I will put Dummett at wing back. He's been in that centre back role over the last few games, and he's absolutely outstanding there. I love Dummett at centre back. I'm not his biggest fan at wing back, if I'm honest. I don't highly rate him as a left back. Centre back, superb, but due to the injuries to Ritchie and Jetro Willems, he's the only left-sided defender we've got in the squad. So by default, that's going to have to be the situation. Fernandez is going to have to come in at centre back, and Paul Dummett at left back. I would put the wing back boys on the bench due to their only doubts, that muscle injury doubts. He hasn't confirmed that out, but with only 24 hours almost till kick-off, they've got a training session today. Hopefully they come through and they can fill a spot on the bench, because there isn't a lot of option there. I would put another defender there in Kieran Clark, because he's versatile. He can play out wide as well. He had a great game against Leicester as well. He's a great centre-back and can also fill in at a wing-back position. So Kieran Clark I would put in there alongside Emil Kraft and Jetro Willems. In midfield, I would stick with the formation, as you can tell. I'm going to stick with the Tottenham formation and have the two centre mids and stick with the Tottenham lads that played, Isaac Hayden and Sean Longstaff. They were both absolutely outstanding. Bossed the game, as well as Isaac Hayden, along with Federico Fernandez, was my man of the match at Leicester. Solid. I was quite surprised to see him there, to be honest. I thought he might have gotten a rest after the solid performance he put in against Tottenham. But nah, he played and he was absolutely outstanding. So it's guys like him and Shaw that have played 90 minutes, both against Tottenham and Leicester. Like, you think they've got to have a break at some point, but at the same time, they are professionals. Like, this is their living. They're professional athletes and get paid handsomely to do it. So you should expect them to be playing 2 to 3 games a week. And yeah, he's got to go in there with Sean Longstaff. Another one. He got a rest. He started from the bench against Leicester and didn't get on. So it's good to refresh his legs. His brother got in a game there. And yeah, I would put Matty Longstaff on the bench, to be honest with you, and as well as Shelvey. Matty Longstaff put in a great performance. Shelvey was alright, he just lacked a little bit. Me and Renty spoke about it in his player ratings. I just think the other guys are more composed and more consistent, Isaac Hayden and Sean Longstaff. So, especially after the Spurs game, we didn't expect anything against them. And the performance they put in was absolutely outstanding. They was so hot, so solid. So, just for consistency, I think we've got to try and solidify a starting 11 and a formation to keep momentum. And that's why I would stick with them two boys. Good to see Sean Longstaff have a little bit of a break. So Isaac Hayden and Sean Longstaff in the middle with John Joe Shelvey and Matty Longstaff on the bench, which leaves out Ki Sung Hyung. Atsu should go in on the right hand side. Again, he's played in both games, both from the bench, but both made a big impact when coming on. He played the majority of the game against Tottenham. Obviously, Alan Saint-Maximin got injured on about 15-16 minutes. So Atsu came on and played the duration of the game and was outstanding. Got the assist, put in a solid shift, and he came on just before half-time against Leicester, replacing Matt Ritchie with his injury. And again, another good game. So it's again due to a lack of option. Like, he's pretty much going to have to. We're really, really lacking in the wide positions. Joelinton should be okay, according to Brucey from his press conference this morning. That's a good sign, because we haven't got a lot of option there. And Almiron, he says, is a problem with an ankle injury. Expected to be okay. They're just going to monitor him today in the training session. And for that, I would put Almiron as a start. I think we're lucky that the international break's coming at a good time. Usually it comes at a terrible time for Newcastle. We usually just start getting momentum and start getting some good wins together before the international break, and it comes and ruins it. But now, with the injuries and all the doubts and the strains and the amount of games that we've been playing lately, I think the international break's coming at a good time for us. So Almiron, although he's going to be away with Paraguay, it's got a long journey. Could do without that, to be honest. He's going to have to fly to the other end of the world and play in some competitive international fixtures. That's not really what we need, but our priority is Newcastle, not Paraguay. So I would play Almiron and I would start Muto from the bench. I've seen a couple of guys on Facebook comment that Muto should start in that position. Muto done well against Leicester. He really, really impressed me, but just Almiron's better. Like, if he's going to be fit, like, if he's not going to be, then that's going to have to happen due to the lack of option, and Almiron's going to have to sit on the bench at the end of the day. So that would be my starting 11. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Run through it again. We've got Dubravka in goal, Manquillo, Shaw, Lascelles, Fernandez and Dummett at the back, Isaac Hayden and Sean Longstaff in the middle, and a front three of Christian Atsu, Miguel Almiron and Joelinton up top, with Darlow, Kraft, Clark, Willems, Shelvey, Matty Longstaff and Muto on the bench, which only leaves out, I think, Ki Sung Hyung and the goalkeeper, Rob Elliott, in the eligible players that are actually fit. Ki Sung Hyung, he's got experience. He's been captain. He's played in the Premier League for over 10 years. I don't even know how long he's been in the Premier League. He's got a lot of caps for his country. He's captained his country at World Cups and such. And I think that experience is invaluable, to be honest. But he's just not good enough, really, is he? He got his chance against Norwich. He started against Norwich and he wasn't great, was he, to be honest? And Matty Longstaff's come in. He's the new blood. He's only 19 years old. He's fighting for a place and he's winning it. For me, he's got a spot on the bench. I don't quite think he's ready for the Premier League, but he's a fantastic option to have to be alongside experienced players like Muto and Shelvey. Isaac Hayden's still a young lad. Like, he can still learn in his game. Obviously, Sean's still a young lad. So we've got options in the central midfield role, but for me, just quality Ki Sung-hyun isn't really what we want looking forward as much as what Matty Longstaff is. So yeah, there's my team, and international break can't come soon enough. To be honest, I usually hate it. I can't stand international break. Watching England's like watching paint dry. But with the doubts and the muscle strains and the injuries, like the 3-week injuries, that's going to cut out a good portion of that. And it gives a lot of players time to rest. There is still a few international players. I think Shah should be away. Dubravka will be away. Shah being another one, being away with Switzerland. We could do without that. Anyone else? Willems, I don't know if he's in the Dutch squad. I don't think he will be, but if he's injured, then he'll not be away anyway. Kraft probably will be. He's a solid starter with Sweden. If we can get through the international break without any more injuries, that would just be fantastic, to be honest. We've got a game in 2 weeks' time, and we need everyone we can get, because it is looking... We are clutching at straws a little bit at the minute. It's all ifs and buts, if people are going to be fit, if they're going to be here or there or whatever. So, Watford at the weekend, that's my 11. And I'm going to go with a 2-1 win against Watford. They're bottom of the league at the minute. They're the only team in the Premier League without a point. So that's good news for us, but they'll also be trying to prove a point. It was Watford last season at home. We got our first win in November. It took us that long, and Watford was the guys that gave us 3 points. So hopefully we can do that again, keep them at the bottom of the table while we up our tally to 6 points just before the international break. Let me know what you think. Is there any changes you would make to that 11? Is there any formation you would change? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV. Thanks for watching and enjoy yourself.